Welcome to the story of the American Civil War, a pivotal chapter in our history that shaped the nation we know today. It all began in the early 1860s, when growing tensions between the North and South reached a boiling point. These tensions were fueled by fundamental disagreements over economic policies, cultural values, and most critically, the issue of slavery. Imagine a nation teetering on the brink of division, where a single spark could ignite a conflict that would change America forever. This sets the stage for our exploration of the Civil War, a time of immense struggle and transformation. Join us as we uncover the events that led to this historical confrontation and discover how these early tensions set the course for a war that would define a nation. To understand the Civil War, we must first explore the deep-rooted causes that set the stage for this conflict. Economic and social differences between the North and South created a growing rift. The North's rapid industrialization stood in stark contrast to the South's agrarian economy, heavily reliant on slavery. This divergence led to tensions that would soon erupt into war. Slavery was not just a peripheral issue, it was central to the discord. The moral and economic implications of slavery fueled intense debates and heightened animosities between the states. Beyond economics and morality, the debate over states' rights versus federal authority added another layer of complexity. Southern states championed their right to self-govern, fearing an overreaching federal government would abolish slavery against their will. This ideological clash over governance and autonomy pushed the nation closer to conflict. As these tensions simmered, they set the stage for a devastating war that would test the resilience of a young nation. Understanding these underlying causes is crucial as we journey through the unfolding events of America's Civil War. Next, we delve into the outbreak of war, where these disputes ignite into the first battles. In April 1861, under the shadow of a tense nation, the first shots rang out at Fort Sumter. This marked the official commencement of the American Civil War, a conflict that would reshape the United States forever. The initial battles were a test of resolve, as both the Union and the Confederacy scrambled to mobilize their forces and devise strategies for what would become a long and grueling war. Young soldiers, many barely out of school, found themselves thrust into a world of chaos and uncertainty, fighting for causes they believed just. Strategies quickly evolved as each side sought to outmaneuver the other. The North, with its industrial might, aimed to suffocate the South's economy through blockades and control of key territories. Meanwhile, the South leveraged its home field advantage and superior military leadership to hold the line against overwhelming odds. The nation watched as brother turned against brother in a struggle not just for territory, but for ideals. These early confrontations set the stage for a war that would test the very fabric of the nation. As we delve deeper into this conflict, we'll explore how these early battles influenced later strategic decisions and set the tone for the bloody years to come. Now let's move to the turning points that altered the course of this monumental war. As the Civil War unfolded, the nation stood at a critical juncture. The Battle of Gettysburg, fought in July 1863, marked a significant turning point. It was here that the Union forces, under the command of General George Meade, decisively halted the advance of Confederate troops led by General Robert E. Lee. This victory not only bolstered Northern morale, but also marked the beginning of the end for the Confederacy. Meanwhile, President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, a bold declaration that transformed the war's purpose. By declaring all slaves in Confederate states to be free, it redefined the conflict as a fight for freedom and human rights, garnering support both domestically and abroad. As the war continued, General William Tecumseh Sherman embarked on his infamous March to the Sea, a campaign that further weakened the Confederacy by devastating its infrastructure and economy. Sherman's tactics of total war left a trail of destruction from Atlanta to Savannah, signaling an irreversible shift in momentum. These pivotal battles and strategic decisions were instrumental in shaping the course of the Civil War. As we delve deeper into this historical saga, we witness how these moments set the stage for the Union's ultimate triumph. Join us next as we explore how this conflict reached its dramatic conclusion and forever changed the landscape of a nation. In 1865, the brutal conflict that had torn America apart finally drew to a close. The surrender at Appomattox marked the Union's definitive victory over the Confederacy. This pivotal moment signaled the end of a war that had tested the nation's very fabric. But even as the country began to breathe a collective sigh of relief, tragedy struck at its heart. President Abraham Lincoln, who had steered the nation through its darkest hours, was assassinated. The Civil War's conclusion was not just a military victory. It was a transformative period that reshaped the United States forever. As the nation grappled with rebuilding and healing, the legacy of the war set the stage for profound social and political changes. The immediate aftermath was a time of uncertainty and hope, as Americans looked towards a future free from the divisions that had once seemed insurmountable. And as we reflect on these pivotal events, we remember the sacrifices made to preserve the Union and strive towards a more united country. Next, we delve into the Reconstruction era, where new challenges and opportunities emerged in a nation determined to rebuild and redefine itself. The end of the Civil War marked not just a victory for the Union, but the start of a profound transformation, the Reconstruction era. As the nation emerged from the shadows of battle, new challenges arose. Reconstruction policies aimed to rebuild the South and integrate millions of freed slaves into society. This period was a tumultuous journey of social and political change. Freed slaves, once considered property, now faced the daunting task of carving out their place in a still hostile society. The promise of freedom was met with resistance and hardship, as former Confederate states grappled with reintegration and the federal government sought to enforce new laws. It was a time of hope and struggle, where the ideals of equality and justice were tested at every turn. The Reconstruction era was pivotal in shaping the future of the United States, laying the groundwork for civil rights movements yet to come. As we reflect on this critical chapter in American history, we see the enduring spirit of those who fought for a unified nation, reminding us that the quest for equality and justice is ongoing. In our next segment, we will explore how the lessons of this era continue to influence our society today. As the dust settled over the battlefields and the echoes of cannons faded, the legacy of the Civil War began to take shape. It was a conflict that forever altered the course of American history, leaving a profound impact on society that resonates even today. From the ashes of division emerged a stronger call for unity and equality, principles that were tested in the crucible of war. The Civil War taught us invaluable lessons of resilience, sacrifice, and the enduring fight for justice. It showed us the costs of division and the power of reconciliation. These lessons remain as relevant now as they were then. As we reflect on this pivotal chapter in our history, let us carry forward the spirit of those who fought for a better future. Let their sacrifices guide us towards a more united and equitable society. History has shown us the path, and it is up to us to walk it wisely. In remembering the Civil War, we honor not just those who lived through it, but also the enduring ideals that it forged. May we continue to learn from history and strive towards a future where such conflicts remain a lesson rather than a reality. The legacy of the Civil War is ours to uphold.